should I do with this?
It's for good. Just
No, I know. It's going to be here.
yeah, so if you sound this right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
That was pretty good. That was good.
That was
I appreciate
impressive.
that. Some veterans in the house. This is good.
Welcome to Temple Israel. We are so delighted that you could be here with us this morning as we celebrate Shabbat together, and of course, as we celebrate Isaac Newman becoming Bar Mitzvah. So, you guys are already so fun. I'm so excited about this. So we're going to start with maybe just a little singing to get you all in the mood. We're going to start by singing a song that we do sometimes on Friday nights, sometimes on Saturday mornings, but it's just a way to say that we're welcoming each other. So if you turn to page 10, the words are Hine Matov Umanaim, how good and pleasant it is to be together as brothers and sisters, as family and friends. Hine Matov Umanaim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. So it is our honor to introduce our Bar Mitzvah, who is going to help lead us in this morning's service. Yamot Tzvi ben Belev Baruch Bar Mitzvah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Our service begins on page 170 in the Blue Prayer Book. May my life be one link in a chain of goodness, and a state of prayers of my ancestors. Help me to recall their devotion and faithfulness, their joy and suffering, which are in every word. Holiness is my heritage, and may I be worthy of it. May our tradition live in me and pass from me to generations I shall never know, enriched by the truth I have found and the good deeds I have done. So may I fulfill my task on earth and receive my blessing. And when the service ends and the prayers have ceased, help me to bring their spirit into the world in which I live. May I love God above all and my neighbors myself, and be a living witness to the truth that never changes.
We join in the singing of Matovu on page 172. Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu.
Please turn to page 195 and rise for the call to worship.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvoreh chached asher shalom uvoreh et hachol hamir la'arich v'ladarim aladach barachamim uvruvu mechadash bachal yom samid ma'ashi v'rachavet ma'rabu masecha Adonai kulam bechuchma asita malach ha'amar ki nadiach tichabarach Adonai Eloheinu al shavach ma'ashi yadash va'al ma'ori or sha'ashitach yaka'arich chila or chadesh al Iyav Ta'ir V'nizki Chilanu Mahara Loro Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes. We're welcomed in gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give in the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMe'orot. We join sing the Shema at the top of page 200. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'betecha u'vleptecha b'derech v'shokmecha uvkumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim leyochlehem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Sing the song of men and women, join understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, yours protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of the land once ravished by war, not quiet and content, for soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, a song of peace.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele, shira chadasha shibchu golim, לשמחה על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד.
Please turn to page 205 and rise for tefillah. Adonai Sifratay titach ufia gita gilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Ater Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Rira, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'Honei Hakol, V'Zoter Aseyavot V'Imahot, Umagid Ulam V'nei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Hozer U'Mashiach U'Magid, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechad Naham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atara Lechoshia, Mechaye Chaim Behesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rohei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umahaye Kemudato Lishenei Yaakov, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umidol Melach, Melech Lemin, Umachaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neheman atah v'hayo hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the doorframe, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries, lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions, waiting to be posed. They fill me with wonder. Stay with me, Eternal Teacher, encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your doors, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving.
And we join in words of Kedusha on page 208.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemashvishim oto bishnei marom, kakatuv al yom neviecha, verara ve'ozer ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai Sevaot, Meloch kol haaretz, kevodo. Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu Machadir, Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai, Mimchomo. Echad v'Eloheinu, U'avinu u'malkeinu, U'moshienu v'yashmienu, Barachamam le'elei kol hai. Ani Adonai Eloheihem, Yimloch le'Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yitzion, Vador, Vador, Hallelujah.
Ledor vador nagid gar lecha, ulenetzach netzachim kedushatcha nagdish, v'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush, le'olam va'en. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. Let's take a few moments now and offer prayers for peace, beginning with the words of Sim Shalom on page 216. Sim, sim, sim shalom, sim, sim, sim shalom, sim, sim,
Sim shalom tova uveracha.
Sim, sim,
Sim shalom sim sim sim
shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha.
On 218.
We sit in community, elbow to elbow, eye to eye. I believe this was written without knowing about this bar mitzvah. So close, perhaps, we brush against each other as we move in prayer, and yet, altogether, it is certainly true. Ears filled with the voices of friends, teachers, fellow travelers, who pray with us from the next seat, from across the room. We come to silence, rhythm of words, shared melody, hushed.
Connected first one to all, we now let go to be alone with the Holy One, to speak in mind and heart and soul, but not with lips.
The prayers we weave together cannot replace that private conversation. God, our partner, awaits us, one by one, a miracle.
Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Yaseh shalom,
shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Yaseh shalom,
shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Before I begin, as I came into the synagogue today, I met a lot of people that are related to each other. And since I married you and you are, I gave away the secret. Probably should have said that later. And you are from St. Louis. Are we related to people who are in this?
Oh, I totally thought you meant, are we related to each other?
Yes. No, that's gross. Not having that discussion on the beamer right now.
I don't think so. I mean, I'd like to be, but we're not actually related to anyone.
I feel like we're amongst family. So I'm going to talk to you as though you are family, so forgive me for being informal. I just want to let you know how excited I am that you're all here. I want to welcome you into this space. Sometimes we meet in a much larger space and there's a lot more room, and I like that we're a little bit closer together and that things are a little bit more intimate right now, because this is a very special time and this is a very special day. And I want to explain to you what's been going on in case you didn't really understand or you haven't been preparing to be a bar bat mitzvah like some of the people that I look around the room who are becoming b'nai mitzvah this year or who have just become b'nai mitzvah. So just to clue you in on where we've gone, what's about to happen, and how we'll conclude. So Isaac this morning guided us on a journey through all of human history and the history of the cosmos. We learned about the creation of the world in Hebrew. We learned about our ancestors, the patriarchs and the matriarchs, in Hebrew. And we also learned about the terrible experience that we had in Egypt, and the experience of slavery, and then the Red Sea, where Isaac took a nice big drink and took a break for a moment. We stopped for an opportunity to meditate, because right now, technically, as Isaac is guiding us on this journey, we are in the desert. And we are just approaching the foot of Mount Sinai. And Mount Sinai is a place of revelation. And that's exactly what we're going to experience in a few moments. We're going to experience Mount Sinai, and Moses over here is going to reveal the Torah to us. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be sick. It's going to be rad. So just hang on. It's also going to be in Hebrew. So in case you don't know what that means, Isaac's also going to step into the footsteps of Moses, our teacher, and he's going to teach us what he thinks it means to him at this time for all of you. And at the end of that, we will experience what we have come to know as redemption.
So Rabbi Michael pointed out that in truth there are many people who are all related to each other here in this room, but the truth is when it comes to this great moment, we look at all of us as somehow being this big family who each of us are passing this Jewish tradition on to Isaac today. And so symbolically, we mark this moment by, before we actually give him Torah to receive, we invite his grandparents and his parents to be able to pass the Torah through the chain of tradition to him. And then, as is our custom, Isaac is going to bring the Torah to you. So what he's going to do is he's going to take the Torah scroll and he's going to walk around the chapel with it. If you wish at that time, you are more than welcome to reach out with your prayer book or even with your hand and gently touch the Torah or gently touch our bar mitzvah as he walks around and brings the sacred scroll to you. But we are first going to pass it through his family, and to do that, we have to get our Torah arcs out. So Thaddeus and Foster, who are watching from home, we hope you guys feel better. Not so many cupcakes at the Oneg next time. And we are going to invite Emily and Clementine to come and help us open our ark. And we're going to invite everyone to rise, and Isaac and his parents and grandparents to stand.
Kivo b'shamayim u'ba'aretz L'cha
Adonai הממלכה והמנשא לכל ראש. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol Shema Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Shema Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You can be seated, it's okay. So the Torah portion that Isaac is going to be reading from is called Ki Tetzeh, and he is going to begin with our Torah blessings on page 250.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oivecha, umtano Adonai Elohecha, biadecha v'shavita shivyo. Sorry. Rita. I forgot it now. Shnatam.
Yeah, start from the beginning.
Let's just stop. Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oivecha, umtano Adonai Elohecha, biadecha v'shavita shivyo.
Technical difficulties, give us just a moment.
Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oivecha, umtano Adonai Elohecha, biadecha v'shavita shivyo. Etecha v'shivya eshet yufaftuo, v'hashatava bracha mamlecha leisha. V'haveta el to betecha, v'giocha efrosha, v'haveta et siporneha. V'heshira et shimlach shivya ma'alecha, v'yasman bevetecha, umtano et oviech v'shirach yirach yamim, uvakar ke hameo lecha, chatam chata lecha leisha. V'haveta el to betecha, v'giocha efrosha, v'haveta et siporneha. Wait, I already did that one. Lecha, v'chol lo titarecha, v'hafetz lo titamer ba. V'talecha leisha, v'haya im lo chafatzta ba, v'shilata l'nafsha, u'machol lo titarecha, v'hafetz lo titamer ba, t'chai ta'ir inicha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam natan b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. All right, So we now lift the Torah in the air so everyone can see what you just read. So we're going to invite your father forward to lift it up for us.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'mi'im tovim v'b'yeh ha'emet v'tzedek.
Sorry, that was my bad. I totally messed up.
Baruch atah Adonai Mevacher b'Torah u'Moshe amo Yisrael amo v'miyeh ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Vani akara lo biladach kichi vanach va'ahalach lo talach ki rabim b'ni shomecha mibni v'olam amar Adonai harchivi makom ahalo v'ranuch mishkanotiach yaku al tachashichi ha'arichi mitaranich v'tadotaich chaski chiyamiv ushmovel tirich vizkanatiach nodich irash va'arim nishmot ya'oshivu. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam or kol holamim Sadich b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaver umkayem, shekol demarav, emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah, v'al ha'vodah, v'al hadve'im, v'al yom ha'shavat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, litushav livnucha, Mahadol tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachu modim lach Uvarchim otam Yitbarach shimcha Noi kol hai tamid Leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh hashavat. Good morning. It's so good to see all of you here. Some of you have come a long way to join me this morning, from as far away as New York, Colorado, and even Canada, while others have come from just down the street. However far you traveled, I really appreciate you all being here today to help me celebrate this milestone. My Torah portion is called Ki Teitzei. It is about Jewish law. However, in 2022, some of these laws seem a bit unusual or outdated. For example, one law says you cannot wear wool and linen together. Another states you must throw rocks at your son if he misbehaves. There's a law about the way to guard your roof while someone is building it, a law about when you can and can't muzzle an ox. There's even a law requiring that if you take land in a war, you must build 3 cities in the middle of the land, and everyone who has accidentally killed or seriously hurt someone in the past must go live there. On the other hand, there are many laws in Ki Teitzei that still apply today. For instance, one law I can use in my daily life instructs that if a neighbor's things get lost, you must return it to him. There's a law requiring if you employ someone who might not have much money or very good living conditions, you have to pay them on the day you agreed on. There's a law about how you cannot punish a son for his father's crime or father for his son's crime, and even a law about how to punish thieves and kidnappers. Even though they're thousands of years old, these laws still make sense in my life as a 13-year-old in 2022. While I was studying the Torah, I noticed some similarities between it and the fantasy genre of books, games, and movies. For example, in the book The Lord of the Rings, the main character Frodo is accompanied by a group of people on his journey to Mordor to destroy a magical ring. Frodo is really just an average guy who suddenly finds himself with a huge challenge that he's not prepared for, but he rises to the challenge and does it anyway because he wants to help his friends and do the right thing for the world. And even though he's just a hobbit, which is a very small and usually weak creature in The Lord of the Rings, next to all these warriors and kings and elves, Frodo still continues his journey for the benefit of everyone. The journey is arduous, but he pushes on to complete his task. Despite being a hobbit and not even wanting to go on a huge journey, and also that this particular journey was full of distance and danger and mistrust, he survived by understanding the laws of the land and by using and sometimes taking advantage of a code. By doing that, he and his companions are able to, against the odds, succeed in their mission and walk away knowing they performed their job ethically. And so what does all of that mean to me? I'm not an ancient warrior or a farmer or a hobbit trying to reach Mordor. I'm a 13-year-old in St. Louis in 2022. However, I think that being able to apply laws that are thousands of years old into life in 2022 is really interesting. For instance, the law about helping your neighbors find lost things can still be applied today as helping your family or friends look for things they lost or helping locate a stray dog or cat. The law about not punishing fathers for their sons' crimes or sons for their father's crimes can be interpreted today as not punishing someone for something they didn't do. And the law about paying someone on the same day can be applied today as upholding your end of an agreement. This act may also be interpreted as justice or tzedakah. Many people think that tzedakah means charity or that it could mean giving or helping. It does. However, this may not be the only interpretation. While studying with Rabbi Michael, he told me that tzedakah can also translate to justice. I think that a lot of the laws in my Torah portion connect directly to justice. Whether the laws are still relevant or no longer apply directly to our lives today, nearly all of them try somehow to resolve an issue through justice, or tzedakah. Looking at Jewish laws that are thousands of years old and understanding how they can connect to life today is interesting. I like lighting the candles at Hanukkah, I like going to the Purim fair, but I also like the practice of interpretation. This is how we're able to see all these old laws and, so many generations later, they still can help guide our lives and give us a way to interact with each other and help contribute to a good world. Now I'd like to take a minute to talk about some people who have really helped me over this last year. I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you to Mora Debbie, Rabbi Amy, and Rabbi Michael. You helped me so much with this process. You're patient and kind. You helped me with my Torah portion in my speech and gave me helping guidance, especially when things were difficult. Without you, I'd probably have to learn from Google. I want to thank all my friends for being here to support me this morning. For most of you, a bar mitzvah is something new and unfamiliar. Guess what? It is for me too. But I'm so glad to look out and see all of you. Unfortunately, not everyone can be here today. My great-grandparents, my cousin Carly, we miss you so much and wish you could be here right now. I think of them all often, and especially on days like today when they'd all be here celebrating with us. Thank you to Aunt Steph and Uncle Josh for traveling all the way here to celebrate with us today. I always love spending time together, and I hope this visit is especially memorable. I'm lucky to have my Aunt Emmy and Uncle Thaddeus here too. We always have so much fun together, and it means the world to me if you wanted to be here today. To my big cousins, Jacob and Alex, I want to know I was paying attention to your bar mitzvahs. How do you think I'm doing so far? You're great guys. I love that we can be both cousins and friends. And to my little cousins, Clementine and Foster, thank you for being so sweet and so kind. I love the time we spend together, and I'm so glad you're here. Clementine, hope you're having fun in St. Louis. And Emmy, I'm sure you're glad Foster's in St. Louis instead of on the boat. I also want to say how happy I am to share today with the Brightwells, the Rebes, and the Bertmans. I know how lucky I am to have each of you here supporting me. Papa, Safta, and Nana Gramps, you've been interested from the beginning of this effort. You've been nothing but encouraging and supporting, and you've traveled all the way here to be a part of this milestone. Today's extra important to me because I know it is important to you. There's my brother, Eli. Oh, Eli, what are we going to do with you? Thank you, Eli, for being such a great brother. Even though you deleted my first speech, even though I sometimes became relentless in your quest for revenge, and even though you literally vibrate with energy and the rest of us are ready to call it a day, I still know how lucky I am to be your brother. You're always there to support me, and I love you very much. Mom and Dad, I don't even know what to say about you. You helped and pushed me so much throughout this process. You're always so supportive of me. You're always there for me, and I'm so glad to have you and have you here today. I always love you guys. It's so special to be good to be together on this day.
Isaac, I could not be any more proud. You were born, and then I blinked, and then here we are. It really went that fast. I know it's a cliche, but it's so true. My heart is just full of such pride. You just gave a lot of thank yous to the people here, but I think we should also be thanking you. Because as you know, as we often talk about in our family around the dinner table or, just hanging out, the world is a crazy place. It's especially crazy right now. And how lucky and blessed and thankful we are to you for bringing us here all together to celebrate something so wonderful and joyous. And so we thank you for that. And my wish for you, my prayer for you, is that may you live a life full of health and happiness and joy and love and peace and maybe a little bit of wealth and lots of times to celebrate with your family and your friends and your community. And I love you. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
Isaac. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And you took this project on with curiosity, with humor, with intelligence and dedication. And Mommy and Eli and this entire room and I could not be any more proud of you.
All right, you're not done yet. There's more. No, this is like the gift-giving part. This is good. Okay, so first, as Rabbi Malka and I showed you before, we, of course, have your bar mitzvah certificate to prove that you are officially a bar mitzvah now. We also, we hope that your Jewish journey will continue. We know it will, but that at some point you will take a trip to the land of Israel, and this is a little gift certificate to get you started. And then we also have a gift that, I apologize, I left in my office because I was so excited, but Rabbi Michael?
It's the synagogue Maserati. We have the keys in the office for you. 2 weeks plus insurance.
It's not really the synagogue Maserati. It's not, I promise. We don't have one. Isaac, I want to say a few things, and I hope you don't mind. First, I just want to talk about your family a little bit. And I told your parents this briefly the other day, but the last few years, as Beth alluded to, obviously, have been crazy. This is such a crazy time to be a parent or to be a human being or to be a child. But when Rabbi Michael and I thought about the past few years and everything that's going on, we realized that your parents somehow, every time we needed something, if it had to do with social justice or the building or the pandemic, that we realized we were going to your parents for advice and support. But because of just the kind of people you are just so modest and so unassuming that we didn't realize that you had just become these incredible allies and leaders. And so we're so grateful to you and to your family. We're especially grateful for these young men that you have raised. Isaac, last night I talked about the idea that your Torah portion is incredibly hard to find in the Torah and how I have struggled every single time we've been together to find it. But I just want to say that what you did today is really amazing, because anyone can memorize something, right? Anyone can just sort of do something by rote. But what you did today is you found yourself again and again in the Torah, and you actually didn't need me or Rabbi Michael to have the book out and be following along. You were able to do it on your own.
And more than anything, as young adults in the world today, that's what we want for you. We don't want you to be perfect. We don't want you to have everything memorized by heart. We don't want you to have to turn to the grown-ups because sometimes we don't know how to find it either. What you did today by being able to find yourself and just keep going until you got it perfectly is just such a remarkable example of who you are and the young man that you are growing to be. And we are just so proud of you and so grateful for who you are. And we can't wait for the years ahead to see you to continue to grow into this just awesome human being.
Thank you.
And now Rabbi Michael is going to talk about the Lord of the Rings.
I'm not mad.
So you're my boy. This is the. It's better. We'll work on it. Isaac, for my bar mitzvah, I read the Torah perfectly. And I had no idea what it meant. At all. You, on the other hand, spent months in interpretation. We studied Chazal, which is thousands of years old. Chachamim zichronam livracha, just in case anybody was wondering. That's what the acronym means. The wise ones of old. We studied modern texts like Tolkien. We talked about it. When you're 12 years old and a Jewish kid, you're sent on an unexpected journey. And as I look out on some of the people that are in this room, I recall that for many of those people, like Bilbo, it was not a journey that they wanted to go on. They were not willing to leave their place of comfort. You went to a lot of really intense places in your study of the Torah portion. And one of the things that we discussed that I think is important to just remind everybody of is the fact that you should not stand idly by when bad things happen. And as we go into the new year, I was just sitting down, Rabbi Amy and I are preparing our high holiday speeches, trying to think of something really important and meaningful to say. And in our rabbinical school, when one falters in the Torah and loses their place, it takes on a mystical aspect. It becomes not just an event where one is reading the Torah, but it actually becomes an event in which everyone in the entire synagogue is involved and caught up in. And what we want is to see a person rise up. And when they do, it is a remarkable thing to see. This was the coolest thing that you could do at HUC. It's to stumble and get back up. And if I could have that message for everyone, for all of High Holidays, it would be that, which is that these years, as Rabbi Amy has said, have been really, really difficult. They have taken a toll. It has been a long journey. But we have somewhere to get to. And that's the new year. That's you as a grown young man going off on adventure into the world. So thank you for reminding us of what's high and holy and important, not by your choice. I haven't cried at a bar mitzvah in a long time. Especially, I was told at my own son's bar mitzvah, you're not allowed to. So I also want to say thank you to you for allowing me to sit down and hear your words. You really broke my heart open and reminded me of what is important in this world. Mazel tov. Well done.
So it's our honor now to stand with you before the ark for one final blessing.
May God bless you and keep you.
May God's light shine upon you as you go on your way through all of the journeys that you experience in life.
May God's countenance be lifted over you. May you always be granted with wholeness and peace. So we'll ask everyone now to please rise, and we're going to return our Torah to the Ark. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. And we turn now to page 282 to join in the words of the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'artzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, Shelo asam kalkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. And on 287, may we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. And today, as we gather in this time of joy with Isaac and his family around him, we are thinking in particular of those members of his family who are no longer with us, but who we know are part of this chain of tradition and who would have been so proud to see him here today. We're thinking of Gertrude Cadis, Milton Cadis, Alma Rubin, Harold Rubin, Mark Rubin, Bernice Hamburg Newman, Louis B. Newman, Janet Pokras, Sigmund Pokras, Carlin Brightwell, and Alan Rudnick. So thinking of those names and the names we keep on our hearts, we join in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divarach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'emeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach le'alam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudusha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran ba'alma v'emru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'emru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, ve'emru amen. The source of peace, bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
So following our service, Isaac and his family are inviting you to a festive kiddush in his honor. We would ask that when you walk out today, if you wouldn't mind taking your sidurim and just placing them back on the shelf, the cart where you got them. Yes, sidurim, prayer books. But before you can eat and drink, you have to say some blessings first. So we are going to invite Josh and Stephanie and Jacob and Alex to come up and help us with our motzi and kiddush. Let's do kiddush first.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagaf.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Doesn't count if you didn't take a bite. Awesome. All right, we are official. So, my friends, we are going to sing you out the door. Again, Mazel Tov. You were awesome. You get to go first. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odevo shalom aleinu. You all can follow if you want. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
God forbid you should go hungry. Don't be hungry. Eat.
Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam.
Skin and bones. Eat.
Salam. Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu. Odevo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Can I show it to you?
Want it?
All right, Rabbi, he's going to grab the top. Look at this.